All right, there we go. All righty, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dom and Gonz Sports Talk, the show we don't only talk about everything Baltimore Ravens, but around the NFL. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Gonz. That's Dom. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we are 2 Sundays away from the regular season. Cannot wait. I can't believe it. We are here, everybody. But tonight we're going to break down the game that we watched last evening, the final preseason game of 2023. Ravens taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and falling 20-26, putting them at 1-2 for their final record for this preseason. The first time the Ravens have finished under 500 in over 5 years in the preseason. First time they've even taken a loss in the last 5 years. So that's pretty crazy, but that's good with me. Like I said, it's always good to try things new. Okay, so let's go. Instead of going undefeated in the preseason like usual, let's take some L's and let's go undefeated in January. How about that? Let's do that. Let's go ahead. If we're going to do if it's a season for change, let's change when it matters, huh? Okay, so Dom, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man. Disappointed about the loss, but I mean, we're here now. And like you said, I'll take a win in January over a win in late August, any day of the week. So
yeah,
feeling good though. Feeling good.
Good. All right, so let's jump right into it. So right after the kickoff, Ravens came out firing on offense. Josh Johnson gets his 3rd consecutive start. Takes the Ravens right down the field after the Ravens defense forces a 3-and-out on Baker Mayfield and the starting Buccaneers offense. Josh Johnson takes it right down the field, hitting multiple receivers, including James Prochet on a big conversion to get a first down. Laquan Treadwell gets the reception over the middle and scores the touchdown. Man, Josh Johnson has continued his great, his efficient play and rhythmic offensive, this offense has looked pretty good under Josh Johnson the past 2 weeks, and it continued tonight.
He is throwing some dots.
At the beginning.
He's been playing very efficient. He's been consistent in his efficiency, which is what we like to see. We love to see consistency from him. Because when he went in for when Huntley was hurt, we didn't see that. We didn't see, obviously those were against starting defenses, but we didn't see really good consistency from him. So the fact that we're seeing it now is really good. He looks more polished. He looks more patient, and, I love to see it because he's been throwing touchdown passes these past couple preseason games. So, I mean, I think he has that spot wrapped up at this point as QB3.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? These Ravens quarterbacks have really stepped it up in the couple days. Josh Johnson did not get too much time. I believe he got the first quarter and maybe a drive or two in the second before the Ravens turned it over to Anthony Brown. For the rest of the game, Anthony Brown looked pretty good as well for the most part, except on his first drive, he had a nice run, and then he coughed up the football, which is what we do not want to see. Ravens had a nice scramble on first down, took it all the way down inside the Bucs 20, entering the red zone, but somebody knocked it out, and the Bucs pounced on it immediately. And obviously, that's not what you want to see from your young backups. But that was about all of the issues that Anthony Brown had, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
I think he was again, he was also efficient. I mean, I can appreciate him. I mean, he went, 12 for 21, 171 yards in the air.
Mm-hmm.
He got sacked 4 times. But I mean, I think he was good. He rushed for 41 yards total that game. He wasn't spectacular, but he wasn't trash either. So I think we can, I think we can give him a little leniency. I mean, because he did play well in the game prior and the game against Commanders, I believe. But, this game, it was definitely, the Bucs were ready for us, I would say. They were definitely ready for us. So, hats off to him. I think they both had great performances, even though he didn't have a touchdown pass, which is unfortunate. I feel like he probably would have had one if that fumble didn't happen. But
yeah, completely agree. Once again, the Ravens did spread the ball out again
A
with
lot of receivers caught
one,
passes.
two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 different receivers or different players catching passes from Ravens quarterback. So that's very good. I think the leading receiver, Charlie Kolar, had a team-high 4 catches for 45, and Dante Demas had the most yards with 2 catches for 86. So that's really cool to see. Once again, reinforcing that point that we made last week about Todd Monken's offense being able to spread the ball around to a lot of different guys.
Yes.
Very encouraging. Love to see it.
That makes
now,
it way more dangerous.
It does.
If that's the case, if this is the case, like if these, like, look at this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different guys are out here catching passes, that makes us a problem because you already have to defend the run game because our run game is automatically going to be dynamic. But then you add in the fact that we can throw it to anybody, anywhere, that is going to make us a problem. So if this is what the future is telling us for this regular season, give me a front row seat because I want to see it.
I'm glad you brought up the run game because that, in my opinion, was not as well. It was okay. I think actually Owen Wright had his best game of the preseason with a team-high 12 carries for 89 yards. This was by far the most work that Owen Wright has gotten in all 3 games combined. Had averaging 7.4 yards per carry and getting into the end zone late in the fourth quarter. So that was good for him. He did not have any splash plays, in my opinion, up until this night. So this was cool to see him burst out on the scene a little bit to show people what he's got. I don't anticipate Owen Wright making the roster just because of who we have in the backfield, obviously, with Dobbins, Edwards. Keaton Mitchell is okay, and I anticipate them to hold on to him as well. And Justice Hill, don't forget about him, who's had a very nice preseason as well, even though he did not get any carries or playing time last night, which you don't need to. So that's fine with me. The run game was okay. We rushed for about 130 yards total. Anthony Brown with second on the team, 6 carries for 40. So it does show, and this is, again, echoing what I said last week, a lot of those scrambles by Anthony Brown were not designed. Most of them were just getting out of trouble, scrambling up the middle on man coverage, which is what I said last week. If you're going to play all-out man, you're going to have somebody spy these quarterbacks because Lamar Jackson will take that all day long in the regular season.
All day.
If you have backs to the Ravens quarterbacks, defensive backs, with their back turned, covering those wide receivers or tight ends, that's just,
that's not
easy pickings. Easy pickings for these quarterbacks. I don't care if it's Tyler Huntley or Lamar. They will scramble up the middle.
They will take off.
They will get their yards.
And it is good to see that we've seen in this preseason that Huntley has been, more willing to, get out of trouble than he was. Because it feels like these past, year and a half, he hasn't really been – he'll look for the pass more rather than, oh, shoot, I should probably get out of here. But, in, this preseason, we've seen him, in that game that he played in, we saw him, oh, no, I can't do this, so let me get up out of here. It's good to see now that he's using his legs a lot more because I didn't see that a lot often from him. Because he has the ability to do it. We've seen him do it. But I feel like he's been really hesitant to do it. So now it's great to see that, he sees listen, man, if I don't see anything open, I can take off. Shit, Lamar does it. I don't see why I can't do it. So hopefully, again, that's more of a mindset that he adopts. If, God willing, he doesn't. If
we don't want to see him on the field. No, I don't want to see him.
Yes, and this isn't a detriment to him. It's just the fact that Lamar for a full season. So if something happens and he will have to take up the helm again, hopefully he keeps that mindset throughout the season because I would love to see him be more of a, just to take up more of a role as not just a passer, but if he needs to, become a rusher if you need to. Quarterbacks these days are becoming way more dynamic getting out of the pocket. So you can be one of those guys.
Yeah, I just really think once LJ gets back there, and, commands this offense week in and week out, starting 2 weeks from now, it'll be really scary. Please keep calling man coverage, NFL. Please do it. Please do it. Because, A, we've got the guys to beat it now, and, B, we've got the quarterbacks that can eat you up on the ground if you do a good job covering our guys.
Yeah, you can't just double team anymore. So
I'm really excited. Really excited. Next guy, Melvin Gordon. Not very impressed again, in my opinion. 3 carries for 9 yards. Unfortunately for him, I just don't. There's no reason
He's
for us
probably
to.
not gonna.
I mean,
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna make it.
not explosive anymore. I feel like he does not break enough tackles like he used to, and there was one play back in the first half where I think Josh Johnson was still the quarterback. There was a pass that got tipped up in the air. Looked like a fumble to me, but that's besides the point. It was tipped up in the air. Melvin Gordon was right there to grab it. Didn't grab it. Felt like he could have grabbed it and made something happen. And there was just other various plays where he just gets tackled by the first guy, and it's like, come on, can we see a little bit of a broken tackle? But like I said, I wasn't expecting much from Gordon when we signed him, so I'm not too surprised. I think we just signed him because Dobbins wasn't ready. He was just an extra body for the preseason, and it doesn't surprise me that the guys we have look better. And I really definitely think Keaton Mitchell is going to take his place above everybody in the roster. Non-surprisingly, because he just looks way more efficient.
More explosive.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks way more
Especially
explosive.
that draw play. That draw play against the Commanders last week was probably my favorite run of the preseason by any backs. Even more than Justice Hill's crazy run against the Eagles. Because this is a guy that we weren't expecting to do well. Justice Hill, we already know what he's pretty decent at. He's a sort of a sneaky speed back with some sneaky strength. And seeing Keaton Mitchell just blow up in that Commanders game was great. So I think that the running back room is set. I don't think anybody else will make it. Maybe practice squad. Melvin Gordon probably wants an active roster spot, so I don't anticipate anything with him going on any practice squad. But it was fun. He was a cool name to have on our squad because he was a former first-round pick. I want to say, was he a first-round pick? I know he got drafted by the Chargers back when Phillip Rivers was quarterback in 2018. 2015, I believe he was drafted.
You would be right.
Yeah.
He was drafted 2015, round 1, pick 15,
Okay.
to San Diego.
Okay. So that's what I thought. And he played for the Chargers for at least 4 years, at least. So he's starting to get to that age where running backs start to get a little bit old and washed. But I feel like he would be a nice compliment for other backfields. Just for us, we already have our guys, and we don't need any more.
Yeah, we already kind of have the guys in the system.
I hope we don't need any more. That would only reason we would need him if there was an injury or a setback to one of our guys. But I'm not anticipating any of that. So I think we're set in the backfield.
Yeah, I think we're fine. I think the 3 guys we have, if we add Keaton Mitchell, that would just make us even better. Dobbins, Gus, Justice, they already know the system. They know what they have. They know their roles. They know what they need to do, and they can do it. I don't really see a need to keep Gordon. I don't think Wright's obviously probably not going to make the roster either. So, they were great depth pieces, but Keaton's probably going to take that 4th running back spot, and I'm not going to argue against it. The man has been great throughout the preseason. He's had explosive plays. I still feel bad for that one play that got called back. Could have had a touchdown there. But yeah, I don't argue. I think our backfield's set. I agree. I don't need we don't need any changes. Let's keep the guys who have been trucking us along these past couple of years. I'm down with that.
Yeah. And the cool thing about our guys is they can get the ball in space. And Munkin's offense, if this hasn't shown you anything to come, I really think that you should know, if you're going to watch the 2023 Baltimore Ravens offense, that the backs are going to get a lot more catches than in Greg Roman's offense. There are some design plays where it's a play fake to the running back, and then the quarterback just tosses it to him for a nice little 15-yard gain. Like, those are great. Sometimes the check down is the hot read and the design play, and that really makes me excited to what this offense could do. Make the defense cover the entire field and not just Mark Andrews. Spread the ball around, make them cover downfield, the middle of the field, and the flats. So we're not as predictable. So I don't know. I'm just super excited about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we move on to the defensive side of the ball, let's talk about a little bit about the receivers night. So like we said earlier, Dante Demas had a team-high 86 yards on 2 receptions. That long catch coming at the end of the game when the Ravens were down by 6, trying to go down and finish take the win, take the lead on a touchdown. Very nice play by him. We have not seen a lot from Dante Demas this preseason, so it was nice to see him get a big splash play with the game on the
Yeah.
line
See
with
him
an
show out a little bit.
pass.
Yeah.
Anthony Brown was flushed all the way out to his left, had to turn around and set his feet and fire an absolute beam down the field. If it was a little bit better throw, he could have caught that in stride and scored. But, it was tough because he was scrambling left. If you're scrambling left as a right-hand quarterback, it's really hard to
Very
throw across
difficult.
the body.
Yes.
But you need to set your feet and square your shoulders the opposite way so you can make that pass. So that was a nice play by both Anthony Brown and Dante Demas to set us up to try to get the dub. Tylan Wallace, 2 catches for 30 yards. I feel like Tylan Wallace missed out on 2 big opportunities to make some 2 big catches. One of them, back in the first quarter when Josh Johnson was still the quarterback, fired a deep pass down the left sideline, back shoulder. Tylan Wallace jumps up off of his hands. And I know that number 16 for the Buccaneers was on him too. My apologies, I don't know his name. But I feel like Tylan Wallace was capable of making that catch. Just because my expectations of him are a little bit higher each week because he's been showing us what he can do. He's been doing his thing each week. And then I felt like he could have made that catch on a 3rd and 10. It was a 3rd down and long with Josh Johnson. I believe it was second quarter. Ravens were down 14-7. The second play I wanted to highlight was fast forward to the 4th quarter. Ravens are down 10, 23-13. Anthony Brown and the Ravens are driving deep into Buccaneers territory. Another goal line fade, just like he caught in both games of the preseason against, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Commanders. Another back shoulder toss makes the guy turn around, and I feel like he just barely missed it. He could have caught that, I think. It would have been his 3rd straight touchdown on, his 3rd straight play. What do I mean by that? It looked like the same play as he scored on the past 2 weeks. So if he can become reliable for those type of fades, goal line fades to the end zone, back shoulder, that would be very cool for him. I wish he would have made that play just because I think the Ravens would have had no doubts about him making the team and getting some decent playing time, maybe, because those are the those are the type of plays you want to see from your wide receivers, especially somebody who's considered to be a wide receiver 5 or 6. That is really good from that type of guy because that shows he deserves some sort of playing time in the regular season with the ones. So I don't think it was make or break for him at all. By no means am I saying that. I'm just saying I wish he would have made that play and got his 3rd straight TD catch on a back shoulder fade just to stamp his spot as that wide receiver 5. But he still should be fine. It's just sort of go ahead.
I don't think it like you said before. I don't think it him in a bad spot to get in that spot because he definitely earned it these past 2 games. Unfortunately, he can continue his streaks of touchdowns with this game, but I think that spot's already solidified. I think he knew that coming into this game. Like, you know what? I could probably relax for a game. You know what I mean? Like I can. Like nobody else has shown up. The rest of the season haven't shown up, but no one has shown me up the past couple of games. So it's kind of like I think I'm good. I think he's good with that. One wide receiver I was hoping would be a little more that we saw a little more of was Sean Ryan. We saw a little bit of him in Philly, not too much after, which kind of hurts to see. I thought the way he was playing in the first game, it seemed as though that he was set to really make a run for one of these spots. But these past 2 games, I mean, this one game he had 1 catch, 9 yards, 2 targets. I mean, I just think for him, it's probably he was just one of those guys I was hoping to see more of. And unfortunately, we cut Shamar Bridges, a story that I always honestly thought he would have made a roster spot at some point, but unfortunately, it did not. But as far as the wide receivers, I mean, I guess do you think we're locked? Do you think we have all of our positions locked at this point? I mean, we have obviously OBJ, Zay, Bateman, Duvernay, throw Wallace in there, and our good old buddy Prochet out here having a catch game with for 28 yards, averaging 14 yards per catch. Does he make a spot? Is he wide receiver
No.
6?
Just answer your question. Do we have our wide receivers set? Yes, in my opinion. And those will be OBJ, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, Zay Flowers, Tyler Wallace, and Devin Duvernay. There's
Holy
your
crap!
six.
How did I forget about Aguilar?
There's your 2023 Baltimore Raven wide receivers. Everyone else, maybe practice squad. Laquan Treadwell is a tough one. Is a tough one. I'm going to make that mistake forever. I swear, guys. I'm sorry. Laquan Treadwell is a tough one because he has done some pretty nice things in practice, but, he hasn't really transitioned it to any of the games until last night when he got that nice touchdown over the middle against the Bucs starters, mind you. Those were the starters. Carlton Davis was back there, Antoine Woodfield. All them guys were back there, so that was nice to see. But is it enough? I just don't think so. So maybe he could be a practice squad guy or, candidate. We'll see. But I think we've got our 6 guys set. James Prochet, you said 2 for 28. Unfortunately, that is not even close to what we need to see. Yeah, that was a nice catch on third down, or it was either second or third down on the first Ravens drive. But, we've been saying it. We need to see a lot from him, and we just haven't seen it. All we've seen are turnovers. Thank goodness he didn't have any turnovers tonight or plays that resulted in turnovers. But, yeah, just not enough from him. Like I said, he needs to find a spot with another team that would fit him better. And hopefully another team takes a chance on him. So we'll see. But as for wide receivers, we are good to go. I think this roster is almost set. I really do. And we're going to switch to defense in just a few moments. But I think we are pretty much set on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay. I mean, that's good. I mean, I think we're fine. Like I said, obviously we know who our tight ends are going to be. Wide receivers are pretty much set, in my opinion. Like, Aguilar's been great in practice. OBJ's OBJ. Zay's been tearing them up. Bateman's back, which is amazing to see. Glad to have him back out there on the field. Duvernay is back, which is great. I mean, it's just great to see all our guys back. If we can just stay healthy, that is the terminology of this year, healthy. If we can just stay healthy, no injuries, no detrimental injuries, I don't see why we can't have this wide receiver core go absolutely crazy this year. I don't see how, because you can't guard with just one guy. It's just got to be the problem anymore. Likely's become an issue. OBJ, like we said, is OBJ. Zay, we've seen tear up defenses. Like, I just don't see how you can just double up Andrews and have a great day out there against us on defense. So this is great, and I'm hoping that it transitions to week 1 because we need a confidence booster.
Exciting stuff. And like I said, getting those backs involved is going to mean the world in the passing. All right. So I think that about wraps it up for offense. Let's go ahead and transition to defense. Not the best game again from defense. And unfortunately, the defense allowed a total of 235 yards through the air, 158 rushing yards, and 2 passing touchdowns and only 1 sack. So the biggest takeaway that we said at the end of our episode last week in that post-game analysis for the Commanders was to see more from the pass rush. And again, it wasn't there. So I'm really hoping that the starters can generate some more than what we've seen in the preseason next Sunday on September the 10th against Houston, because the preseason was less than stellar for a lot of guys. So, Dom, what were your thoughts on the pass rush before we continue?
I feel as though you already know how I feel. Listen, I have highlighted time and time again, if our pass rush sucks, we will suck on the defensive end. Okay, like, that's just how it is. Like, look at these stats. Like, we had 1 sack, and that was from Trey Botts. Okay, like,
I'm sorry, who?
Trey Botts.
Okay, well, that must have been late in the fourth quarter.
Like, it's just, dude, we can't have that. Like, and obviously, again, I know what you say before. Preseason, does it matter? Probably not. But at the end of the day, these guys are going to be set. Some of these guys are going to be set to make the roster. Right? So if they need to step up, next man up mentality, and they can't get it done, we're sitting here like, oh dang, well they didn't make any plays during the preseason, so I mean we didn't expect them to make plays here. Like they have to be able to, because we can't. Baker Mayfield throwing dots. Mayfield, we know Baker. He was in our division. You telling me we can't get back there? Come on, man. Baker, what was Baker's stats? One night he was 6 of 6, 43 yards,
Really?
and a touch. 6 for 6. Miss a pass. Get back there. This is what I mean. Like all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we have to emphasize pass rush. It has to be a point of emphasis. We have like, is our secondary a top 5 secondary in the league? I probably wouldn't call it that. But at the end of the day, we have corners who are able to play really, really well in certain situations. And if they're getting like out, if they're giving up stuff because we can't get back there, like it's not. It has to be complimentary. I just need, like, obviously, like Ojabo again. He was. I'm seeing he was out there. Like he was out there. He had one. What was his stats? One total tackle. He had one. We have to apply more pressure. Pressure has to be applied. And when we get back there, you better swat that ball down, or you better get that QB down to the ground. Force him into an uncomfortable situation. He shouldn't be. Nobody should be back there calling their girlfriend, seeing what they want for dinner, and be able to order food for the next couple of weeks. Like we shouldn't be able to do that. I'm sorry. Like I'm going to hold all my criticisms in until after week 1, since we're going up against a rookie quarterback. But if they don't show up, hearing from me. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I think you're a little too harsh. Let's give them a few weeks. Let's not judge.
That's why I said I'm holding my criticisms. I'm holding the criticisms.
Well, I'm
okay?
just. You said week 1.
No, they need to be back there week 1.
Well,
back there week 1.
I think they need a few weeks, because we can't. If the defense goes out and dominates, for example, against Houston, that means nothing to me. No offense. No offense to Houston.
I'm not.
I need to see consistency from the pass rush, from the corners, and a consistent style of play through the first few weeks of the season before I make any opinions about how this defense is going to look, because obviously the Texans are very young, and the Ravens are expected to play well week 1. C.J. Stroud has never started in the NFL before. The Ravens need to feast on that. But by no means am I going to judge this team by then, because we've got to see how they go against decent offenses. We've got a few bad teams to start. We've got Houston week 1, then we've got the Bengals. That's definitely not a bad team. Week 3, Indianapolis, another rookie. Again, somebody we should win, sitting here on the sidelines 3 weeks away. Week 4 and 5, though, are the Steelers and the Browns, 2 teams we have struggled to put away at the end of games. So let's see how this defense looks after the first month, and then I could start to formulate maybe a minuscule opinion to evaluate them from the start of the year. But by no means am I going to wait for week 1 to say that. Now, that being said, that's my opinion on the overall defense. But I do agree with you in the sense that we need to see some action from David Ojabo week 1. We do need to see some, splash plays from these guys, because the pass rush just hasn't been there. And like we said last week, maybe Mike McDonald's just calling vanilla coverages and, very, very vanilla blitzes if he decides to go that way. Maybe he's saving his, intense stuff for the end of the regular season. And that's cool with me. That's very cool with me, because you don't want to show anything cool, anything major or complex in the preseason. You want to wait till the games matter to, show your best play calling. So I'm completely fine if he's going that direction. But, yes, we need to see some sort of pressure against Houston, I will say. Will that define the defense? No. But we do want to see some people getting instant pressures and instant sheds and instant speed moves off the edge and pressuring C.J. Stroud on that first game.
See,
So
and
I hope
that's
you understand what I'm saying.
no,
I hope
and
you guys get what I'm saying.
yeah.
I'm not making an opinion about the whole defense after week 1, but I do want to see some improvement on the pass rush side of things week 1. If you guys, I hope you're following me. I think
that's exactly where I'm going. This will not define this won't define everything. And I just want to make that clear when I'm saying what I'm saying. As far as the pass rush, though, we are going against a team who is in a rebuild, who is expecting to just, be going through the motions, basically. Not like, but you know what I mean. So at this point right now, when I say I need to see something week 1, this is what I mean. Like we are going, like this should be, like, again, not a defining moment, but this needs to be a moment. This needs to be a time where we see these guys, like whoever's starting. I don't know if Texans name the starter yet, but I don't care if it's going to be Stroud. Okay, yep. So if it's going to be Stroud, then we need a rookie who isn't fully accommodated to the NFL yet. Make him look uncomfortable. Okay, this is that time to do so, because let's come in. Let's set the tone. That's the way to put it. That's the way I want to describe it. Let's set the tone week 1, because obviously we are not known for having. Well, we used to be, but we're not known for having like dominant pass rush these past couple of years. So let's go in here. Let's go into week 1 with a mindset of dominant pass rush, and then let that pass rush will complement the secondary. So to that point, we're getting more turnovers on downs. We can probably force more turnovers altogether. And the defense can start to, build that confidence as they come together. Because I know every time you're talking about let the defense, build, let them gel together, let them build that consistency. Let's start off building that consistency with some positive momentum. Like going out there and just showing the Texans, like, hey, y'all not supposed to win this game. And we're going to show you why you're not going to win this game. So when I say I need to see something week 1, I'm just saying let's take advantage of the situation that we're in, because we're not going to have a lot of the situations. Our division is tough. Like we're going up against like top quarterbacks in our division. So let's take the gimmies when we have them. We don't have a lot of them. If that's making sense. Like let's take advantage of the situations we're in. That's all I'm saying. Like you said, we need to see something from Ojabo. Let's see what all this talk has been about Oweh, because there's been a lot of positivity coming out, which I love, by the way. I don't hate it. I want him to be great. So let's see what he's made of. Let's see where Clowney fits in. Our D tackles, now that Calais is gone, Michael Pierce is here. So let's just see what they can do. I just want to see more QB pressures and seeing him on the ground. That's all I need to see. That's all I'm saying.
Be a completely different look on defense than it has been the 3 weeks when the game kicks off on the 10th. I feel like we have no reason not to put on a nice show on defense. Like you said, the defensive line is going to have a completely different feel. Oweh on one side, Ojabo on the other side. Clowney will be in the mix as well. Justin Matabike in the interior, and Michael Pierce. Don't forget about Travis Jones and Broderick Washington. Like, the Ravens have a rotation of guys getting on the field. So that's why another reason why I'm not going to be there, not sit here and be super pessimistic, because we haven't even scratched the surface of the starters for this team yet. Marcus Williams hasn't played. Kyle Hamilton hasn't played. Geno Stone did get some action last night, just limited, which is good to see because he was injured at the beginning of training camp. So he should be back and good to go by the Texans game. He had 1 tackle, I believe. But overall, not a lot of guys stood out in the Buccaneers game last night. I think 4 people were tied for the tackle leaders. Delshon Phillips, number 53, that middle linebacker that I've been talking about and highlighting. Josh Ross, Jeremy Lucien, and DeAndre Houston Carson all led the team with 4 tackles. But, Delshon Phillips, another guy people were raving about in practice, but didn't really transition to the games. Nothing really stood out about them. And that kind of told the story of the entire night last night as well. Nobody really stuck out on defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they made Baker Mayfield look like he was Tom Brady.
Well, again, I'm not concerned about that because we did get a nice 3-and-out to start the game. Baker and the Bucs had to, and the Ravens took it down the field and scored.
We have Baker Mayfield disdain over here.
You said what? What'd you say?
We have Baker Mayfield disdain over here. Okay, we don't. Yeah. We have Baker Mayfield disdain. Okay, and it's no detriment to Baker, but it's just like he was on the Browns, and we don't mess with that.
Okay.
We don't.
But
level to this.
I'm not going to be as critical as Dom. We did get them off the field once. They were 1 for 2 on scoring, so it wasn't too bad. And mind you, we didn't have any starters playing. So the Buccaneers chose to rock their starters. Almost every team we played this preseason chose to rock their starters in the first half. Except we didn't see Hurts. We did not see Hurts. Yeah. But we did see DeAndre Swift. So there were some ones out there. Especially maybe not as many ones in the Philly game, but there were lots of ones in total. Howell played and Baker played, who the Buccaneers named their starting QB for this year. So they did fine, in my opinion, 1 for 2, nothing too special. Godwin did get that nice touchdown on Caillou. Caillou didn't have his pass. Yeah. Caillou was kind of getting burned on some plays. A lot of comeback routes where they would act like they're running to go, fake it, come back to the ball. But again, I feel like if you need to help these guys out by having a good pass rush, and there was no good pass rush last night. Now, the counter argument to that is there were no starters, and I don't expect Caillou to be on the outside week 1. So we should be fine. And we, like you also said, we were talking last week, Rock Ya-Sin returned to practice. Arthur Millette returned to practice. So we've got all of our guys back now at corner. So that's really good.
Except for
now the last guy we're waiting for is Marlowe. Yep, you beat me to it. I was just getting there. But everyone else is back. Everyone's back. So, and Jalen Armour-Davis got some looks too last night, making 3 tackles. So he'll be healthy for the season as well. So I'm optimistic. There's nothing that I saw in the preseason that made me super, super nervous. Because the starters didn't play. None of the starters played. So I'll wait a few weeks into the regular season before I let you guys know if I'm feeling good, feeling meh, or feeling scared and nervous about this Ravens defense. I'm hoping Mike McDonald is saving all of his, plays and toys and different gadgets for the regular season. And then from the playbook side of things, some, confusing coverages, some nasty blitzes, and some, weird packages to confuse opposing quarterbacks. I'm hoping he gets all that done when the games matter, because we've got some big matchups to start the year. 3 divisional games in the first 5 weeks. So we need to make sure we are on our A game at the beginning. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, man,
we are 2 weeks away.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad you're holding your criticisms. I'm not holding mine. So at the end of the day, if these guys better show up, I'm not playing. I get it. They give them some time to gel. I'm with you. I'm withholding some criticisms, not withholding all. Okay, come out week 1. I swear to goodness on everything that I love. If I see lack of performance week 1, I'm gonna have a problem. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it. The team, they need time to get it together. Obviously, any team will. But at the end of the day, like I said, take the gimmies when you got them, because we don't have a lot of them this year. All right? But I probably won't have a true critique of the team probably till, like you said, around 5 weeks, 6 weeks into the season, give or take. But come out week 1, show them what you're made of. Let's just come out and dominate. That's all I'm asking us to do. That is literally the expectation for week 1. Week 2, that'll be the story when we get to it. But until we know for sure, week 1, Texans dominate. That's all I'm asking. And I better not see any. I want 4 sacks. Here first, people. If we do not get 4 or more sacks in week 1, Baltimore Ravens will be hearing from my lawyer. That's all I'm saying. Gonz, back to you.
Okay, well, yeah, like we just got to see. I got to see some play from Ojabo. I need at least 1 sack from him on week 1. But yeah, like we said, all we could do is sit here and speculate at this point. No more preseason. We've got 2 more weeks of practice. College football kicks off on Sunday, or sorry, on this Saturday coming up. So we can watch that while we wait for our favorite teams on the 10th of September. We cannot count that down fast enough. But anyway, guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Appreciate you rocking with us like always. We hope you enjoyed. Please comment down below how your team did the preseason. Are you worried? Are you feeling confident? Anything that you're concerned about, please just talk to us. Let us know. Tom, anything else before we go ahead and close this out for the evening?
No, I mean, I'm ready for the first game of the regular season, ready for football. Football is back now. It was back, now it's back. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully we start off the year 1-0. So I'm ready.
Yeah, we can't wait. We cannot wait. Please, if you're on YouTube watching this, please leave a like down below if you enjoyed and a subscription. And anyway, Dom, we will return next Sunday for our first Ravens preview for the 2023 Week 1 game against the Texans. And we cannot wait for that. We cannot wait. We'll break it down next week on Sunday. We hope to see y'all there. If y'all enjoyed this video, once again, please come back to us. Hit us up, DM us on Instagram. Or send us an email for anything that you would like to ask us, or if you want to come onto the show, we would love to have you. But anyway, guys, I think we're going to sign out for the evening. We'll see y'all next Sunday. Have a great evening. This is Dom and Gonz signing out. Take care, everybody.